And welcome back to Inside the Show. I'm Scuffy alongside Cougs, and I'm excited for this episode here, Cougs. We got a lot of information over the past week, and I kind of just, want to go straight into it. First off, we got a gameplay trailer. Not only that, the gameplay trailer hinted at two new legends as well. I mean, if one is still in, but we'll get to that. But Cougs, how you feeling today? I feel like today's gonna be a good episode. I just feel in my bones right here.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have some fun today, Scuffy. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get excited about. Like after this episode, like we have a good episode with stuff we're gonna discuss, but after this episode, that's when it's really gonna start kicking up with a lot of MLB The Show 22 news. So let's get into it. Let's get going because
Yeah.
I want to. I
Just want to, just
I want to
talk about
get
it.
I want to get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel it. We'll lock in. That's what we're doing right now. Let's start with what we first got, and that was the gameplay trailer. I didn't expect it coming out that day. First off, but it drops. It was 9 a.m. No, it was actually 12, wasn't it? No, was it 9 or 12? I
I
forget
don't
what
remember.
I think it was 9.
Yeah.
It was 9 a.m. I was just like, all right, what is this? And then it looked like to be a trailer because you see Ohtani for a minute. So yeah, the trailer, gameplay trailer we got. And let's just say it went to the typical things, the animations that we've seen, new animations. We saw Judge, we saw the strut, kind of like vice versa of what we got from Barrow last year. Now we got with Stroman this year, which I like the Stroman strut, being a fan of Stro. And then Cougs, we got one returning legend, which we all know, and that's Ryan Howard. Before we get to the other one, let's go over Ryan Howard. Let's give him his due. Another cover boy making his way back into MLB The Show. We had Poppy made his way back. Now we got Ryan Howard, the big lefty, making back into MLB The Show. I, for one, was pumped. He's probably my favorite. It's kind of safe favorite Philly from like the 2000 era because I hated them. I
Yeah.
hated them, being a Mets fan, but I always loved Howard, so I welcome him back in open arms.
Yeah, I'll just echo what I said either last week or the week before or whatever. Um, I'm very excited to have Ryan Howard in the game. The Phillies desperately need help on their all-time team. I just, once again, I hope that he doesn't get the Prince Fielder treatment. If you're gonna put Ryan Howard in a game,
Yeah,
please just put him in the game at a point where he's not swamped by 12 other 99 overall first basemen that are better than him. Like, give me a good Ryan Howard day one and give me a good Ryan Howard when there's not too many other guys he has to compete with at the first base position. And I think it's a good year for him. Don't give him the Prince Fielder treatment, please.
no, I agree, and it's funny that you say give him the day one, a good day one, which we will get because that kind of say, that's one of the talking points that we have for this gameplay trailer is that he is going to be part of the digital deluxe cover pack, and we'll get that to a little bit after we go over the trailer. But that's going to give us a nice Ryan Howard from the start. But as we go on through the trailer, we see it. Like I said, it's a typical trailer, and the game for me the graphics felt the same, which I'm fine with. We'll get into that topic in a little bit, but everything just felt like an MLB Show trailer, if that makes sense. We see all the animations from different players, the new players that we all see them in new unis. And then we got the big reveal at the end. And Koos, you know what? I'm going to let you have this because you were waiting. I feel like every year that we're doing this for new legends, you always mention this one name that you always wanted, and it looks, hopefully, we say hopefully for a reason that he's in the game, but I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, Scuffy, Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson, the big unit, is in MLB The Show 21, at least according to the original gameplay trailer. He's in MLB The Show 21. I usually around January always make like a top 10 legends wish list video. And Randy Johnson is usually within the top 3, if not number 1 on that list. So obviously, to me, that's exciting, especially when you consider, like, if you look at endgame lineups in MLB 21, all the endgame rotations were dominated by right-handed pitching. Corbin Burns, Jake Arrieta, Corey Kluber, Justin Verlander, Felix Hernandez, so on and so forth. Like, there were not a ton of great starting pitchers that were left-handed towards the end of this year's game. And I really think that Randy Johnson could be that guy that kind of, sneaks in that end game rotation. I'm hoping he does. I really hope they don't do him like they did Pedro Martinez this year, because we were gassed for Pedro this year and we know how that turned out. So I'm hoping that Randy is the big unit that we want to see, that we've wanted to see forever. Um, but I'm also just hoping he's in the game
Yes.
after all of this. If you guys don't, actually, you apparently have,
Yeah.
you're the one who
Everyone could
hasn't.
blame me.
Yeah.
I'm like the secret spy or agent, I guess, all of this. So I was bored on Saturday morning, not bored, just casually browsing, and I felt like just going through different, just checking if there's any new news out there that I might have missed, because I like to be prepped, especially for these episodes for Inside the Show. So I was just browsing, and then I noticed that I went to SES's channel and I noticed they removed the trailer. I was like, okay, that's a little bit weird. Where they removed the gameplay trailer. It's still not re-uploaded, by the way. Out of the blue. And then I went to the PlayStation channel and I noticed that they uploaded 15 hours ago, or it was like 12 hours ago. So I was like, okay, let me take a look at here. And then I scrolled to the end and I was like, all right, there's no Randy Johnson here. What's going on? Where's Randy? What did they do with Randy? So I was like, okay, this must just be a weird thing, because it showed the PlayStation logo after, where the regular trailers showed mostly the pre-order stuff and then went to Randy. This showed like more PlayStation, so maybe they just want to advertise that. So I was like, okay, but let me double check. So I went to the Twitter, because I think the day after of the trailer, they posted like a little gift or video of Randy Johnson, if you and like hype him up. I looked back, that was deleted. Looked back, the gameplay trailer, that was deleted off the Twitter account. Apparently on Instagram, it was deleted. So I'm like, where's Randy? So I kind of like put my tinfoil hat on. I was talking to Tyler, Daddy Dimu, at the time. This is around, I guess, 10, 11 a.m. And I was like, yo, Tyler, I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. This is all like pretty much what I just discussed. Like this all happened. And I still expect him in the game, and I still do at this moment. And he kind of took it and ran with it. And Tyler being Tyler, because you know how he could be. It's not like instigating, but he plays into that like character and just like, all right, fellas, what's happening here? And it likes
Yeah.
just to stir the pot a little bit. Just give us an entertainment value as well, because that's what Tyler's a fantastic entertainer, and he just likes just talk about. It gives us something to talk about, and then it just blew up, absolutely blew up. Like, and then you see every other content creator started creating videos on it, TikToks on it. I'm like, oh god, what just happened here? Like SES probably didn't even realize this was going to happen. Like, how did they find this out? Like, and then now on every post we see, where's Randy? What did you do with Randy? And it's Cougs. Like I said, I still think he's in the game. Something must have happened. There was even a TikTok where I believe he was like, it was Randy, either Randy's TikTok or someone recorded him with being excited about being in the game. And then I, I don't know. I still think he's in the game. It's just something must have went differently. I don't know. I just we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think he's still in the game. I think that that would be really odd for them to put him at the end of the trailer as the big tease and then have it basically not happen. I know they took down the trailer and everything, but we already saw that. And once you put it up on the internet, it never dies. So, I think if hopefully it's not the case, but if there is the possibility that Randy Johnson is no longer in the game, they got to say something, because
Oh yeah.
you're going to have people buying the game because Randy Johnson is in it, and then they put their game in their PlayStation or their Xbox and they load it up. Randy Johnson's nowhere to be found. People won't be happy with that. So I until they come out and say, whether it's on a feature premiere or a tweet or whatever, Randy Johnson is not in the game. I'm going with the idea that he is in the game because they've already marketed him. So let's hope that that is actually true.
Yeah, I couldn't see like be like this is the gameplay trailer oh, hey, just like, oh, I forgot to remove Randy or something because of rights. I don't see that happening. He's still in the game. I liked Frisk's idea, and shout out to Frisk once again because he's just a clever dude to think about this. Is like maybe Randy and his team saw it and it was like, "Oh, it's a Diamondbacks jersey. I really want to be displayed as a Mariners jersey." That could be something. So they took it down out of his request, and maybe we get a Legends trailer out of that, and then he'll be revealed then with the Mariners. But who knows? Like you said, until they say something, it's a slow news now because of how the lockout is and how we're just waiting for MLB to show, so it's a little bit more exponential where we take this type of thing and kind of blow it up when in reality, we're still gonna be playing this game. We're still gonna get more legends, which we'll discuss about later. It but would it suck that Randy's not in the game? It would, but like I said, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. I think we both are. We're just gonna keep it the way it is until we see otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That the fact that people are just hungry for any exciting baseball content right now. The
Yeah.
lockout, they just met again this past weekend, and that only went like less than an hour or something. It's a weird time to be a baseball fan because we're at Valentine's Day when we're recording this. Normally, I expect to turn on MLB Network in the morning and hear them talking about pitchers and catchers and them getting ready for their 30 clubs in 30 days series. And I'm like, dude, this is when the excitement begins, and right now we have nothing. So it's kind of reminiscent of the pandemic season when everybody kind of
Mm.
turned to MLB The Show for their baseball fix when baseball wasn't
Yep.
around, even though the regular season wouldn't have even started yet anyway. It still kind of is that same type of vibe where it's like people just want baseball, man, and we'll take it in any way we can get it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it really kicked in yesterday. I mean, with the Super Bowl happened yesterday, whenever it ends, it's like, okay, it's baseball time, baseball season. Can't really say that right now.
Mm-mm.
It's
Yeah.
just like, where are we at? So, but let's shift back to these two legends, and I want to talk about potentials of what type of cards we might see. First off, let's bring back Ryan Howard, and let's bring back the subject before we go into the concepts about being the digital deluxe pack for the cover players. I thought that was fantastic that they confirmed that he's going to be in that pack, and I don't know, Cougs. With that being part of the thing, are we going to see more cover boys coming back? I mean, do we get all right? Do we get a Mauer? Well, I mean, it's kind of hinting towards that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they are heavily implying that more cover athletes will be around this year. I think it's safe to say that whether it's all of them or just a few of them, I think it's pretty safe to say we're gonna get like that's a good idea of some of the pool of legends we're gonna get.
Yeah, I do too. So, hopefully that's the case. I mean, especially I would love right back in the game being a Met fan. But going back to the subject at hand, let's talk about card potentials. I want to give you two cards from here. The first one, Ryan Howard, MVP from '06.
Let me pull
Let me
up
just
his numbers. Let me pull up that season.
I was going to read it off. I have it
Oh,
here.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah, I have it ready to go. So his OPS, his OPS was over 1,000, 1.0084, right? Slugging 659. Hit 58 bombs. RBI drove in 149. Hit 313. Let's just put that in perspectives. And not only that, he had 26 extra base hits on top of his 58 home runs.
Sheesh.
So that card, I'm thinking Jim Tomey-esque, but maybe better. But that's a lot of power.
That's a
And that's
lot of power.
and hitting for contact as well.
Yeah, and dude, I'm actually looking at this 2006 season. He had 16 home runs against lefties. Obviously, he had however many he had 58 or whatever. He
Yep.
had 16 home runs against lefties with a 923 OPS and a 558 slugging. Like that's still pretty good power numbers.
I
Like
was
that.
even that's probably in the 100 range.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. Now that actually, you're talking about this specific season. One thing that I would hope that MLB The Show does is I would love for them to not have everything based off a certain series of cards. So like by the end of the year, I don't need everybody's best version to be either an awards, a milestone, or a signature. if a guy had one incredible year that was better than anything else he did, give me a 99 overall from that season and just make that his end game card. Like if we never got a awards Ryan Howard, or we never got a, what, like a prime Ryan Howard, whatever it is. If you just give me a 2006 card with the tops card art that's on there, totally okay with it. I don't need it to be an awards card or anything like that.
Yeah.
I wish they would do more single season cards that could play with some of the other big series in the game. I think that'd be sick.
Or if that, even if it was awards, do it like a throwback of what it used to look like on the side, so you still see
With the trophy.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. And yeah, like I know awards and well, some milestones could be based off one season, and I'm okay with that, but like I kind of would like the actual tops card art instead of the same awards card art that we've seen for 2 years now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Uh, that I will like that. It's a little bit different. Like the variety of different seeing cards is better. Like I would love just a full 9, which they are getting better at, like a full like screen of just different cards.
Yeah.
Like not looking very similar, just different cards and go from there. Shifting over to Randy Johnson, I think you could pick any of year of his Cy Young awards, but if we want to make sure that he doesn't end up like Pedro, it's gotta be his perfect game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be.
So, and that would give him 120 plus H per. I don't know how they're going to do H per nines. I mean, I'm sure they saw how buffed up H per nines was for us this year. So I'm very curious how they battle that, especially early on, to because we had that Al Leiter so early, and that pretty much create that stigma right from the bat and create that meta right off the bat, and made other pitchers not as useful because we had those big H per nine. So I'm very curious how they battle that throughout the year. But yeah, that Randy Johnson throwing that perfect game. I mean, and his pitch repertoire is going to be crazy with the sidearm delivery, with the sinker. I mean, oh man, I can't wait to use them, but I can't. I could wait to face them.
I'm so excited he's in the game until I take my first AB.
Yeah.
That's it. Once he's
Uh,
there, I'm like, all right, get him back out of here. I don't want him anymore.
Exactly. But you'll have a potential of multiple different cards. I'm just curious how they go about that. And same with Ryan Howard. And I will end on this. Me being a BR player, he had a silver card in the
Hmm.
past. And I would love to see it. Probably won't be a silver now, it'll probably more towards a gold because it was a 79 and 17, which is basically like low gold area. So I would love to see that card be a part of the BR program, personally. So maybe
That'd
we
be
can
great.
get that yeah, right
I know
from
exactly
season
what
1?
card you're talking about.
Yes. He had a lot of power. It was very Chris Davis-esque, I believe.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. I thought the power was a little bit more
it was more on the right-hand
balanced.
side.
Or I don't remember. I
Let's see,
remember the card art.
I could pull it up right here.
Yeah,
I had it.
he would be such a good BR
Oh, these
card
are from
though.
16. Okay.
16, damn.
Alright, so his contact against righties was 87, his contact against lefties 32, power against so it's going to seem like a bench bat, but still remember this is 99, um,
Yeah, this was
attributes.
before the attributes. Yeah.
Yep, so power against lefties 42, power against righties 99. There's no hey, this could be more towards like a gold Sano, because gold Sano is in 120 power.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You just got to think with the way cards worked back then and how the overall system was completely different because in 16 what was it to be a diamond? You had to be like a 92 or something?
93, I think.
93. So
Yeah,
like the rating scale was completely different. The
yeah, it was
attributes were completely different. Who knows what that Ryan Howard could look like? I think he would be the best as a silver just for his value in a BR draft, but still, if the attributes are supposed to be better than that, then maybe we get the gold. I don't know.
yeah, who knows?
Either way, need him. Need him.
Yes, exactly, and I think we will get him. So, but yeah, that was the gameplay trailer. That started off the week, right? And then let's shift over to I believe it was either the next day or the day after, and that was the Nintendo Direct. And this is the first time we saw the duo here, Cougs. The
I,
duo between Ohtani and Coach.
feels good, man.
And now we just need the videos. That's what we need. But to go over to Nintendo Direct, I think the first thing I want to bring up is the FPS, frames per second. If you don't know what FPS means, just knowing that it is a Switch game is great. And I kind of expected it not to be great, like this crazy 60 FPS, what you see for next gen, because it's not a next gen console. This is what I kind of expected at, but a lot of people I feel like forgot about that. So they kind of overreacted. But this is, I mean, it looked like it was about 20 to 30 FPS when looking at that trailer. I don't know. That was the view I have. I mean, until we get the hands on experience, then that's, we'll see what it is. But I'm curious, what are your first thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I wasn't expecting some crazy graphical improvements on the Nintendo Switch. I think if you were expecting that, you were setting yourself up for disappointment. The idea of it being on the Switch is to, just be able to have the most accessibility for people to play the game as possible. Being able to play on whatever console you want, being able to have cross progression, cross play, all that stuff. They just had a really strong emphasis on their ecosystem, and MLB The Show being on Nintendo Switch is huge for San Diego studio regardless. So to me, it's not as much about the graphics as just what it is, what the actual idea behind it is, because I look at the Switch as more of a social, a more casual, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
experience of gaming than a PlayStation 5 version of MLB The Show or Xbox Series X, whatever. I think the idea is just being able to capture a more social, fun part of the audience, because that's to me that's what the Switch is built around, is being able to play with your friends wherever you are at any time. So I was not shocked that the game did look a little rough around the edges when it came to the graphical performance. But I can't. I'm not saying I'm disappointed. I just say I it didn't surprise me that it looked like that.
Oh yeah, I'm on the same boat. I mean, I'm still gonna get it on the Switch. I'm still gonna
Me
play on
too.
the Switch. I'm still gonna really, really enjoy it. That have something that's that accessible be on the Switch. So hey, it doesn't change my opinion on it. I mean, it it's going to bring such a bigger user base by having this, because we went over this last week with Nintendo Switch being the number one Nintendo console to be sold. So I mean, this is only going to be better for MLB Show in general. So I can't wait.
You know who's not gonna like it being on the Switch
Who's that?
is my girlfriend, and she's never gonna get me off this game, dude.
Uh,
Be on
or
the couch watching a movie and be like, "Sorry, I'm grinding moments. Gotta do this
and then when
showdown."
that and then you're just gonna be screaming at like, just scream at one like when she's like into the movie and you're just playing the moments, and then all of a sudden the computer robs you. It's just like that clip from was that last year when someone robbed you at the wall?
Oh no, that
Or was
was
that 2 years
20.
ago?
That was
That was
20.
funny. It'll be something like that, and then all of a sudden you just cursing left and right, like someone just like
During like
robbing
a
you.
romantic comedy on the TV or something. Sheesh.
But yeah. To move on to the direct, we also saw new menus, which looked very nice. You saw that. I really liked. Liked last year's theme, the UI. This is just it. Kind of pops more
Yeah.
from looking at these new menus, especially that Diamond Dynasty logo, the Rotor Show logo. It just felt big. Last year it had pretty much all Tatis, I believe. This year it just kind of just pops, and I like seeing that. If you haven't seen, just YouTube Nintendo Direct, that will be the show, and it'll pop up there. But the other big thing was the new ticker that was shown, and we had some people through the community analyzing the ticker, because if you look at it, if you're listening on the podcast, I'll try to a little overview of what it looks like, and that is where it looks like your regular ticker, but by where the score is, there was like a little bar, and they had the Seattle Mariners facing the Angels at the time, and it was like color barred, but where it was filled up with the team colors, and it looked like the Mariners had a little bit more color on the bar than the Angels. And we had, once again, shout out to Frisk again, who made the hypothesis, I should say, if that's like a momentum interface, whether that's for presentations, like say the Mariners are doing good away. There's that many, the crowd's not really cheering on. They're kind of, just going along with the game. Where, say, if the Angels were winning the game and it was more red, the crowd will be more into it. It's like a playoff atmosphere type of thing. Or I don't know. I could definitely see that, Chris. I could definitely see that. But it's crazy what you could take from a simple 2-second, 3-second clip and how people could analyze this. And a shout out to Frisk, and there was others in the community that saw that as well. Hey, I don't know. I didn't catch that, but I'm who knows?
Yeah. And that I think it's actually like really, or it's actually like a big find because during the gameplay trailer, it really seemed like they were putting a lot of emphasis on atmosphere in the crowd. They
Yep.
kept showing these shots either from the stands or showing the stands themselves and the fans. It just looked like there was a lot more life in the stadium. So if you add that little like momentum feature almost, I think that's going to elevate the crowd even more. And I hope that that's something they could implement in Diamond Dynasty because if you're in your World Series game, I would love if
Oh,
the crowd was way more intense and the crowd kind of understood the situation. Like, I don't know how they would code that, but the crowd knows like if you win this game, you're going to get enough rating points to ultimately get that World Series berth, something like that. If they could implement that into Diamond Dynasty without having it affect gameplay, that's the biggest thing. I don't need I don't need my screen shaking when I'm trying to see a fastball at 102, because the crowd's on their feet or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I would love to see the atmosphere in the stadium boost up in big situations. And I think that feature could at least, if it's not going to happen this year, it could at least pave the way for something in the future.
Oh, without doubt. 11-0 game.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
that. And especially going like extras, and you're just like, "Oh my god, what's happening here?" And you just hear it like that 3D audio in your headset. It's just like, okay, this is a big moment. I either way, it'd be good way offline, online, and like I said, it doesn't need to touch gameplay. Someone actually had a nice idea for gameplay, and that went with stamina, for the pitchers. So, say if you have the momentum in your favor and someone quits out, it will take that, I guess, result or whatever the data is from the momentum, and if it's favoring you, your stamina will not take a hit as much as the person quit out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be that in depth, but I like how other people were thinking about that. I think it's like we discussed, just presentation.
Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, I mean, just those 2 days. First off, gameplay trailer, then Nintendo Direct. To be honest with you, the Nintendo Direct, I thought we were just getting the gameplay trailer. Oh, I know what we missed for the big news. It just hit to me. Because we were both before the podcast, and Cook's probably like, what are you talking about?" Before the podcast, we thought we were missing something to put in our list, and it just came to me. Just came to me. First off, shout out to Ben Verlander and the Flipping Pod podcast.
Ah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you haven't listened to them, even watch Verlander stream the game. Go follow him on Twitch. Go follow him on Twitter and his podcast. He interviewed Ramon, and then he asked a question to Ramon: "Would you be able to play with Ohtani pitching and hitting at the same time? Be a true two-way player?" And it was confirmed that they had to rewrite code as Ramon discussed, and you're able to use Ohtani now in a two-way player. And that brings up a lot of questions. And I do have a follow-up question on this, but first thoughts of using your boy, I mean everyone's boy now, Ohtani, the way he's supposed to be.
I, it opens up so many different possibilities.
Yep.
Now, I assume from my understanding with Ramon talking to Ben about that, I assume he's saying you're going to be able to use Otani like this. At, it's definitely franchise. I'm not sure how exactly that's going to work for Diamond Dynasty. Um, I don't know if it's going to work the same because even in 21, they have that 99 Otani that has the secondary positions that can, he's starting pitcher, relief pitcher, whatever. I've brought him in, and he actually does lose energy if you bring him in game after game after game. Um, so if they were to do something like that for this next year in Diamond Dynasty, I just think they got to figure out the energy system, which is something that they need to do anyway. Um, because I feel like even though I don't think Otani's the best pitcher in the game, I feel like that's an easy way to kind of abuse the energy system even more. Um, so I think there needs to be something to stop anything that's exploited in that aspect. But the idea of being able to use Otani like he's used in real life would be pretty sweet. And another thing we kind of forgot to touch on is the universal DH.
Yep.
So that why don't you take that part because that kind of can lead into this conversation as well.
Yeah. So the universal DH was agreed on by the MLB and MLBPA. We finally hear some agreements, and if that's the case, you will see DH in Diamond Dynasty. I could 99.9% guarantee that we'll see DH into Diamond Dynasty. We used to have it. There was in 13 where there was a setting. This is when we had the fictional players, and then it was fictional and real players, but you had to get like packs for real players, and they were on like a 10-game contract. But we don't have to go into that. But there was like a setting where you could, when you're home, you could be either have a DH or not. But anyway, it would be in the game. So that brings a big impact to BR. I'm just everything. Not but
Everything.
BR rank seasons, everything. And for me personally, it's gonna make some players more usable now. Nelson Cruz, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these players that probably don't have the best fielding, but you love hitting with them. It's going to bring all those players into the pool. Me personally, I don't mind it. Now it's me being mostly a BR player. Do I want in BR? Personally, I want the challenge. I will love just I loved when they first went with the 3 batter minimum. And I was like, all right, this is gonna be a game changer for BR, especially when you could choose your pitchers as well. This is gonna be another game changer for BR. And I think I might be not not everyone's gonna see what I see, but I like the challenge. I like, yo, give me your best 9 guys. Let me see what you could do. It's going to make the drafts I already see the draft strategy, what I would do. You don't have to draft as many pitchers as you would think, because now your pitchers could go multiple innings.
Uh-huh.
But I was still draft. I'll probably more looking to draft more quality pitchers now, just knowing I'm going to have them longer.
Yeah.
Um, and then focus on the value from there. But we could go another full episode on that when that's confirmed. But yeah, it brings a lot to the table, Cougs.
It changes the
I'm
whole game. It's crazy.
I'm here for it though. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. And basically bottom line is that whether I want it to be in the game or not or whatever, like at the end of the day, if it is, we'll adjust. We
Yeah,
adjusted to the 3 batter minimum.
I thought that was going
Um,
to be bad at first, but then I loved it.
yeah, I think the 3 batter minimum in Diamond Dynasty for sure adds a lot of different elements, a lot of different strategic ideas. So yeah, if Universal DH is in the game, I'm good for it. I'm good.
Yeah. So I did want to follow up a question with the two-way player. What about caps? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't think caps are going anywhere. So I know there's been a lot of people talking about it on Twitter, whether or not like they should be in the game if they have a place in Diamond Dynasty. Caps aren't leaving. You can make all the arguments in the world. Caps aren't going anywhere. The idea that you can have this fantasy team, but also have one free player to just have be a beast, like that's great for people that don't put that much time into the game. Like the casual people love the created player, and it's not going anywhere at the end of the day. But it's the same idea. They just need to be balanced a little bit better compared to some of the other cards. I feel like there needs to be, at least in Diamond Dynasty, I feel like there just needs to be certain like restrictions in place on certain positions or certain pitches you can't throw with certain windups or whatever. I'm totally okay with juiced hitters. I'm totally okay with that because every card in the game at this point is a juiced hitter. So I'm fine with that. Just the pitchers are really weird because that to me completely breaks any sort of immersion, being able to throw from that under or that sidearm slot and throw
Yeah.
102 and then mix in a 71-mile-an-hour curveball and an 86-mile-an-hour slider. Like that to me completely breaks any sort of immersion. I don't mind if it's a good hitter. Even I'm saying that facing one as well as using one.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, that part's fine. It just the balance of the whole thing, I think needs to be tweaked. But caps aren't going anywhere, man. I know
Oh,
people
no.
have a lot of opinions. Caps aren't leaving.
No, I think they have a long-term goal of what they wanna do with the ball player. We kinda heard that last year with the feature. We heard Nick Livingston say that on the feature. So I think they're going to see that throughout, and that means Caps are going to be staying in Diamond Dynasty. Personally, I don't use them. I don't play as much ranked, so probably not. I mean, I remember the beginning year facing the typical card that you're just talking about, where you had the sidearm going like 100 and then a freaking 68 mile an hour changeup. And I was just like, what is going on? But it is what it is right
I
now.
I
And
I not to cut you off, I just think another thing is that they need to have a better way to level that player up.
yeah,
Because this year it was just so easy to exploit. Like I got that created player with those insane stats with all the equipment. I got that in
yep.
like 4 hours of mindless road to the show grinding where 90% of it was being simulated. I just had to press A to get in the actual game. So like, it was kind of annoying. I there's just a lot of tweaks they need to make. I think the cap system could actually be good. They
Mhm.
just need to tweak it and balance it.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. But I'm glad that we remembered because it would kill us that if it because that would happen. Like we'll end the podcast and all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a second, now I remember
Yeah.
what we do. But yeah, um, so we got those things to look out for. I'm very curious. If I'm hoping they make the deals very soon. If the extra inning becomes back to what it was, 'cause I still don't like the runner on second, especially for this game. Um, so I'm hoping that just gets reverted. That's the only thing else I'm looking for. I don't know what else we could look out for from the CBA that could affect MLB The Show.
Mhm.
Maybe, hey, maybe they could actually create their own CBA for franchise, like how 2K does it. In 2K and franchise, you can make your own CBA. What the players
Really?
agree on. Yeah, you can have all these different type of rules. It's very in depth like that. And you know what? That might be something cool to see in franchise personally. Like imagine making up these crazy up rules and just I don't know. I don't know. Like maybe it is a home run swing off for extra innings or something like that. Imagine you could do that. I don't know. Be cool to alter in franchise.
Yeah, what? That blows my mind
Yeah.
that you can do that.
It's great. They have you had to and they had to agree on it too. With the rule change. It's very cool, like, the owners and, teams have to agree on the rule changes.
Meanwhile, Paul's picking up players he just traded from waivers 15
For
days
solo.
later.
Oh god, yeah. Um,
This is a whole nother conversation.
yeah, that is a whole nother conversation for another time, so, uh, but we'll always be advocates for
Yes.
having,
Yes.
franchise be better. I mean, it just I want that community well, just the community in general because I'm just like right now, I'm fully invested in NCAA, like we said, and you played a little bit before, and we discussed this on the podcast before. But just have another thing to do after DD, like especially around this time. This is probably where I get more invested in franchise. We could try that out and then go there. And then maybe next year I'll be more playing that, and then vice versa. People, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we did get more news today, which I did not expect at all, and that's our first feature, being this Wednesday. Last year, we didn't get our first feature until March 11th. Last year, we got the daily videos between Coach and Tatis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Doesn't look like we're getting that this year with Ohtani. I know there's going to be interaction with Coach and Ohtani. Don't you worry, Coops. I know that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the same type of format. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? We'll see what happens after next week. Maybe they start plugging those in. But first feature Wednesday. Hey, I'm here for it. I did not expect it to come this week. I expected it to come maybe the next week or the week after. And they said they're going now it's gonna be Wednesday this week, but the following weeks are gonna be at Thursday, and it's gonna be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific each time, so you know what time, YouTube, Twitch, all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
But this Wednesday, we get our first feature. I'm excited, man. I'm
I'm very
excited.
excited.
This is the time. This is where the hype train starts, and it's just going to keep on building up until we get to April 1st or April 5th, whenever we get the game, and we get more new legend reveals for UDD players, and we just see more information
Yep.
come out each day, and there's going to be little details here and there that just going to get us hyped up even more, wanting us to start playing the game. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, and like you were saying though, with the you don't know if they're going to do it the same way they did it last year. This features on Wednesday. Every other feature going forward is on a Thursday, so they could release those videos on Tuesday
Yeah,
mornings. So it still could be the same thing. Maybe it's not this week, but still.
next week. Yeah,
Um, yeah, the only thing is that we just didn't get we got the times and the days, but we don't know what we're seeing until we see it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
normally we have an idea of okay, this week's about March to October, this week's about Road to the Show, this week's about Stadium Creator, like we don't have that yet.
Yep.
So I still think there's a chance the day that you guys are listening to this podcast or the day this podcast releases, I think there's a chance we get a Coach and Otani video tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, today's Monday.
Yeah.
I keep thinking today's Tuesday. So,
No,
yeah,
today
there
there's a chance.
there is
Obviously,
a chance. There is a chance. I didn't think of that.
obviously
Oh,
with us releasing where we record the podcast on Monday nights and then
yeah,
we release it on Tuesday. If that does happen, we'll talk about the coach thing and the feature premiere next week on next week's episode.
yep,
But um I would kind of like to know what we're getting in terms of the feature premieres because, if it's like I'm gonna watch them all regardless, and Diamond Dynasty is usually the last one.
yeah,
Um, I just, I'd like to know if this week we're gonna learn a little bit more about the game on the Switch, or if we're gonna learn a little bit more about night games and Stadium and Creator. I just kind of want to know what I'm getting into before it rolls around. So that's why I think we're gonna get the coach videos on Tuesdays.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like I said, they're probably listening about it if we do get it Tuesday. Um, I think for Wednesday, I mean, they usually start out with gameplay,
Hmm.
so that's my expectation for gameplay. Uh, and I am very curious of what's going to be the main details for gameplay, whether that is hitting, pitching, fielding, what's going to be the main focus of that. And I feel like it's just going to be how do they attack this year's gameplay for 22, right? That just pretty much it. Maybe I'm not sure they'll go over the server issues. I'm very curious. I asked this question on Twitter, and it was, "What type of questions are you hoping if we get gameplay?" I'm just going to scroll through here while we're talking about this, and I believe it's funny people ask about Randy, but yeah, that's not good. A lot of people ask for, I guess, I'm seeing a lot more foul balls. This one guy, Gritch under I think this is a little overreaction, but Gritch underscore 4. If I see a single foul ball, Kooks, if I see a single foul ball, I'm canceling my pre-order.
Wow.
Single
Wow.
foul ball. He's gonna have to cancel his
Yeah,
pre-order. I mean,
yeah, you got that. Go ahead and get your money back now, brother.
yeah.
Get started now.
But another big thing was pitching stamina, and I think we discussed this multiple times. We have the good Oral Hershiser story to go on with the 160 pitches of him and still being green. So I think that's going to be one thing to look out for.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Wait, wait.
Is it
Wait, which one?
the pitching stamina
Oh,
or
I
pinpoint?
I heard something else. Oh, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, that definitely there's a lot of uh there's a lot of things that need to be tweaked on that front.
Mhm.
So, and I think they need to be transparent about it and they need to say like, you know, we realized that there were some issues with that and, we have some fixes in place and then we need to see those fixes and get even more, confirmation that that is something that has been a high priority for them.
Yep. And that's the thing. You just gotta it's kind of be open minded and just take all the information at hand they give you and just hope that information translate once you be able to play, right? That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
And we always say we can't really have opinion on it until we get our hands on it. But we'll talk about what they talk about and have a sense of what to expect. But until we get the game in our hands, that's when we're gonna have a full opinion on it, but, yeah, I expect some type of gameplay. It's funny, I saw someone post what they expect to be the feature since we didn't get a schedule, and, gameplay changes could be 1, Nintendo, Switch gameplay and cross-play information, same creator, like you said, and presentation improvements. We know that same creator is gonna be night games now, what did they add, what you could do else, road to show changes, March to October and franchise improvements, DD, and then they usually have like the legend reveals, the dev tournament if it leads up to the game, info on the first hit. Did they give us info on the first inning program? Do we know that it's going to be Kenny Lofton and all that? Piazza and
I mean, I
Latour?
think we did beforehand, yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, no, we knew. I don't
Okay.
remember like how early we knew, but we knew.
Yeah. So that should be like a general, like, I guess, opinion what we think the features might be.
Yeah. Going back to the tweet though,
Yep.
that we put up with questions. There was one from Doc McPuffins, and he was saying talk about the infield freezes on the ground balls, whatever. Like
Yep.
we
Yep.
we've talked about freezes on the podcast before. We have made it very clear that that issue needs to be addressed before MLB 22 comes out, or going into 22, I should say. Um, I'm curious if they're going to actually talk about that on the feature premiere when whether this one's gameplay or the next one's gameplay, whatever. I'm curious if they are going to talk about the freezes because you can't like that was such a big issue this year. I
Mhm.
don't think that's something you can ignore. And I know maybe they want to focus on changes to pinpoint and changes to the hitting engine, whatever. They're going to do that. I think you really gotta put an emphasis on these freeze offs because for a lot of people that was a deal breaker. Like if
Yep.
you get on the game and you can't even finish the game, like people aren't going to play. And I'm sure they lost a tremendous player base because of that. People don't want to deal with that. If somebody's going to get on and play a ranked game, they want to play that ranked game and at least have it end on their own terms, whether they quit or they win the game, whatever it is. The freeze offs are a huge problem this year. So I'm really curious to see if they are actually going to come out directly to address that, whether it's on this feature premiere or a different one or whatever. I think they really need to do that, though. I think they may need to make it very clear that, hey, we feel very comfortable where we're at with the freezing issue. And we're
Mhm.
really hoping that, or that would be bad to say. We're hoping it doesn't happen, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we have a lot more confidence on that issue going into this year.
I think they did that in the past for 18. Unfortunately, that's when we got the news for online franchise, but we knew how the 17 servers were with the
Yeah,
access token and all that. And they kind of did have that transparency for 18. Um, but yeah, something towards that line, like you said, we'd be perfect.
yeah,
Just and it's just going to give more like well, I mean, it's not like we don't have respect to just give more of that comfortability and translation that we know they're working hard, which we already know they do. It just I don't know, kind of like reaffirms our thinking like, hey, hold on, they're working at this. Let's see them do it. But we're gonna need to hear from them just that transparency at first to I guess rehab that thought of them working. I don't know how to
Yeah, no, I get
put
what
it
I
in,
get what
but
you're
yeah.
saying. Just to remind us that that is something that should be a priority.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So we got that feature news, and then today before that, they said they're going to reveal 2 new legends, but same teammates, 2 new legends, and they gave a screenshot. This is before the feature news, and it got us everyone thinking. I offhand, it we all are saying the same 2 names, Kooks, right? I
Mhm.
mean, pretty much once you see it, the same 2 names are kind of popping up. There's more names on that, but am I here to guess what you're gonna say? You think it's gonna be Mauer and Morneau?
Yeah, that's my guess. That seems to make the most sense based off of the image.
Yeah. And at first, I was trying to be like, "Yo, it's not gonna be Mauer and Morneau. I thought it was gonna be like Manny and Nomar." But then someone posted a legit screenshot, like, of a live Mauer bat, and it looked exactly what the left player looked like in the screenshot. So there's two players, one on the left, one on the right, and it looked exactly like everything lined up, like the hands, the nose, the helmet. So, and that
Yeah.
just goes part of what we were discussing before with Howard being part of the digital deluxe pack for the diamond cover, and Mauer fits into that.
Yeah. Is there any other combos you think that it could possibly be?
I was hoping for Manny. First, I really thought it was gonna be Manny and Omar. That's what I
Okay.
thought, because it looked like the player on the left might have, like, long hair, so I was thinking, Manny's dreads. So they flipped him, just make it, like, seem 2 lefties, so I thought it could be him. Other people were saying Reyes and Wright, but I couldn't see the left being Reyes,
Yeah, no.
um, which I would love. I mean, having them back would be great. But that's the only names I could think of, and then, of course, Maurer and Morneau.
I was thinking another one, maybe like because I could see both a left-handed hitter and a right-handed hitter on the right image, the one on the right.
Mhm.
Um, but I was thinking, what if one of them was a switch hitter?
Oh,
Um, I don't know if the batting stances line up, but what about the possibility of seeing Lance Berkman and Carlos Beltran?
stop it. Stop it.
I'm just saying
Don't do that to me.
that'd be a good one. That would be a good one. I don't know.
Would
I need to
the
get a
left
good
one be
picture of.
Beltran?
I'm saying I don't know whichever one. Because Beltran was switch hitter.
Yeah.
Well, Berkman was no, yeah, he was a switch hitter too. They were both
Yeah,
switch
yeah.
hitters. I'm thinking maybe '04 because that's when Beltran was with the Astros and the
Oh,
former teammates. I don't know. I still am more confident in the Mauer Morneau pick, but I could see Berkman and and Beltran, and maybe that they're teasing the return of Beltran. I'm just trying to find a good picture of Berkman's batting stance.
it looks more towards the left,
Yeah,
because
trying to
if I
see.
show you, yeah, oh, wow. If I show you, where is Discord? Show you this one.
Let's see it. Yeah, I mean, it's
With the
possible.
guy on the left. Yeah.
It's possible.
I couldn't see the other guy being Beltran's stance, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's that's why
That's
I
the
said I'm
thing.
more confident in the Mauer Morneau, but
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking former teammates. Like I don't know. I feel like Mauer
Oh,
Morneau is a very. It's almost. It
technic
almost seems too obvious to me.
and they put a twin, because there's a Twins background. You saw the Twins jerseys in the fans.
Yeah,
So,
that could be
that's
be
what
a
I felt. It
curveball.
felt too obvious. That's
Yeah,
why, but then again, sometimes last year when it was too obvious, it was still them.
yeah.
So, we'll find out Wednesday.
We shall see. But
But
let's get in. Speaking of legends,
yeah, exactly. Speaking of legends, we got to do our, segment that we're going between AL and NL Central legends. If you didn't check out last week's podcast, we did AL and NL East, legends. We picked one from each team, that we would like to see in the game. We did that. Now we're doing Central. Next week we'll do West, and let's get to it. Let's start with AL Central. I'll start with my first one with the Twins because I've been saying this name. This is like my Randy, pretty much,
yeah,
and that is Johan Santana. He's pretty much my number one legend that I want to the game. I love Johan, man. He was if not my favorite pitcher, that I loved seeing, whether it was for the Twins or the Mets. So I love to see him in the game. So for Twins, it's Johan. Hopefully, he's back in the game soon. So right from there, I mean, he'd be good. I mean, he doesn't have a meta pitch. That's the thing. But his slider would be good. His changeup would be filthy, and he could throw his fastball is higher in the 95, 77 area. But it really depends how the breaking ball stuff is. He'll have that great break, which would probably be for a changeup. So it'd be like an Eric Gagne type of changeup, I think. Circle change, by the way.
Yeah.
And his slider should be actually pretty dirty too. So
Cool.
we'll see.
Cool. I like the pick. He was on my short list for the Twins as well. But I kept it very simple. I'm just going Joe Mauer.
Yeah.
We a lot of us have a good feeling that he's going to be in the game this year, but regardless of the teases with the cover athlete stuff or whatever, probably still would have been my pick. So until he's 100% confirmed, he's going to be my guy for the Twins. I mean, not a lot to say about Joe Mauer that MLB The Show veterans don't already know. He's going to be, if he is in the game, he's going to be one of the best catchers. A solid left-handed bat, a great swing, great two-handed finish. So yeah, Joe Mauer is my guy for the Twins. Let's go to the team with the newest name in the AL Central. Let's go to the Cleveland Guardians. Feels
Oh,
feels
okay.
weird not saying the Cleveland Indians anymore.
Yeah, it
Cleveland
does.
Guardians.
We'll get used to it.
Um, I went with a guy that has been in the game recently. He just recently retired. I'm going CC.
Ah, okay.
Going
That's a good one.
CC
CCV.
Sabathia. He won his Cy Young with the Indians.
Okay.
In I think '06, I want to say. Whatever year it was. And he was dominant that year. I know, people mainly know him as a Yankee off the second half of his career and the amount of time he spent there for sure. But I think if you were going to give CC a Cy Young card, I think that'd be a great Cleveland all-time team type of player.
Yes, I would too. I would love to see that. So for me, it was between 2 guys. One that we were gonna say Roberto Alomar is gonna be out of the game, so that's one Indians player that you need to get back. I was thinking about bringing his brother Sandy Alomar, which was
Okay.
a nice catcher, but another one that we need to get back in the game is Big Sexy himself, Bartolo Colon. I wanna
I
see
love it.
how he could do with the milestone area. I feel like he either
True.
I don't know. I just feel like there's something that we could really get out of Cologne now with
True.
the different type of series cards we have. So give me a Indians Bartolo Cologne. I'm here for it.
I like
I'm
it.
here for it. I know the DH is not there anymore. I mean, DH is coming, so you can't hit with him, but maybe pitch him a little bit.
Yeah.
Imagine that milestone, first career home run with the Mets card, and
They
it's like
missed their window,
125
bro.
power. Yo.
They missed their window.
Just 125 power both ways. Oh, and especially having two-way player now. I don't know how you do it, but oh, alright, anyway. Let me go to the White Sox next, and this was actually tough for me. This is where my Mets bias came in, and I chose Robin Ventura.
Okay. Okay.
Third baseman from the 2000 area a little bit earlier. It's just I need that Ventura Nolan Ryan matchup that we could relive. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when Ventura charged the mound against Nolan Ryan when he was on the White Sox, and this is when he was just breaking into the league, and Nolan Ryan, let's just say, got the best of him.
Yep.
So
Cool.
give me
Cool.
Ventura.
Um, for my pick for the White Sox, I went with Maglio Ordonez. Um, played a lot with the White Sox late 90s, early 2000s before moving to Detroit for the second half of his career. But, his stretch with the White Sox, he went to the All-Star team 4 times, had a top 10 MVP finish, won a few Silver Sluggers with them. Um, I would say his two best seasons or not or his best season overall, I would say, came with Detroit when he hit 54 doubles and hit 363 and a 1,000 OPS. Still, though, I think Maglio, whichever team you want to give him one for, they're both Central teams.
Mhm.
He's my White Sox pick.
I love it. I like Maggio. I always was a fan of him.
Yeah,
You always forget. I hate that I say it, forget about him, but I remember I always loved watching him play.
nice.
So
Yeah, yeah. He was fun. I remember. Yeah, he was. He was around when I started watching baseball. All right. Tigers or Royals? Let's
Whatever you want.
do let's do Tigers. I know it's once again not a very it's not the sexy pick because we have recently had him in the game, but he got taken out for I don't know what reason. I want Ty Cobb back.
Ty Cobb.
I want
Oh, okay.
that bat off the bench for me, the 99 speed. Plus, he's got that sneaky pop. And some people don't like Ty Cobb's swing. I loved it.
I One of my favorite swings. Once
Yeah.
I started playing with him, I was 9 for 9, started out with him, and we're in the CCL. I always remember facing Shelby, sorry yourself, and I would think I went 4 for 4 with 3 bombs with them, 2 of them lefty lefty. I was just, like, on it with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
Ty Cobb,
love
I
him.
just that pool of legends that randomly got taken out, I want him back.
Yeah, same with Hornsby, Williams, all of them. I wish we could get back. For me, I actually just watched, his documentary on MLB Network, and this is The Bird of Mark Fidrich. He was a rookie sensation, especially his first year. He came up just pretty much. I believe one of the starters got hurt, and he came up and he just started dominating. Pretty much, he had like under 2 ERA in like 8 starts or something like that. He started the All Star game, um, and they call him the Bird because he had this antics you don't really see on the mound. Like he would cover like, he'll do his own grounds work on the mound by using his hands. He'll be talking to the ball and that fun stuff. So I just watched that documentary. I was like, all right, I couldn't think of a Tigers player, and that's the only one I'm thinking of. Why not? Bring him in the game. He threw hard, had a nice slider, had a lot good control. So that's who I'm going to go with.
All right. Good pick. Not a common pick, but a good one, a unique one.
Yeah, it's the only one I thought of. So why not?
Yep.
The Royals. So the Royals, I have Mike Sweeney, the first baseman.
Okay.
So I don't know. That was the first name I thought of. Have a little pop with him. I believe he had a pop. I just knew
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
he
big
definitely had a little
early.
bit. Yeah.
I'm just trying to look up his yeah. I mean, he even got he got a couple. Wow, 29 home runs, 144, OPS 979 in his 2002 year. Okay, yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
pretty good.
He'll
I
get the
mean,
job
2000
done.
year. Yep, that'll get the job done. But yeah, he was always like a mainstay for the Royals for I believe over 10 years. I think 12 years he played with the Royals. So be a nice pick you get.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so for the Royals, there were a couple options, but I ultimately went like Otani's on the cover this year. They've got this um this big marketing campaign that this guy can do it all. He's a two-way player. Why not expand that even more? Give me more than a two-way player. Give me the dual sport athlete. Give me Bo Jackson. I mean, Bo Jackson from the Kansas City Royals. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the podcast, where I think it's okay to just do a season based or a card based off one season. Give me the 1989 season, top 10 MVP finish,
Hmm.
32 homers, 15 doubles, 105 RBIs, OPS over 800. He's probably not going to be the best card in the game, but he stole 26 bags as well. Give me that. Give me a Bo Jackson. Expand the player that can do more than one thing.
Yeah, I would love it. I mean, a lot of people will love it just for that. And then you get his animation for like breaking the bat over his knee.
Yeah.
And then imagine having that like as a no doubter. You hit a no doubter and he just like breaks over his helmet and just like stares at the pitcher or something like that. Something
Elite.
unique. Yep.
Elite. And then we'll move it over to the NL now. Let's
Yep.
start screw it. Let's start with the Brewers, actually.
Okay.
The Brewers were a tough one. I really didn't know who I wanted because I mean the main one I would have said would have been Prince Fielder, but we got him in the game last year. So I said for me, I said Ben Sheets.
Yep.
Um, Four-time All-Star, top 10 Cy Young finish in 2004. Had some solid years. He's never a guy you think of when you think of like a crazy, crazy good pitcher, but he was just solid. And he would fit the Brewers all-time squad really well. Was basically a staple of their rotation for the 2000s. So I think he'd be a good addition. I'm not saying he would be Like he wouldn't break down any walls or anything like that, but
Yeah,
he would be a nice, solid addition to the legend pool.
I feel it. I I almost mentioned his name last week when we were talking about Jason Worth, and there's a
Mhm.
reason for that, by how big Jason Worth is. Richie Sexton.
Oh,
Richie Sexton had 40 plus home run, years with him. So that'll be nice. I mean, I think he played first base and left field, if I'm not mistaken, and I just thought that could fit the mold too. He could be I thought he was in the game before. I'm pretty sure he had this gold card, whether that was in no, he wasn't in the game yet. I'm thinking of someone else. I
I
think I'm
think you
thinking of
might be
Hunter
thinking of.
Pence.
Are you are you thinking of a brewer?
No, I think I'm just thinking gold card, and now I'm thinking the gold Hunter Pence when he was on the Astros.
Gotcha.
That
Okay.
that came in my head. But yeah, Richie Sexton would be nice, be another fit. I was thinking even Jerry Burnitz if they wanted
Okay.
to. And, a shout out to, Ricky Weeks as well. I used to love his Cars and
Yeah, he was a
Hoopers
fun
card.
one.
So, so we did Brewers. I'm gonna go over to Cubs. You might have the same one as me. I'm going, like, I feel like 80% here. Derek Lee.
No, I don't have the same one as you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Derek Lee, if you look up his stats with the Cubs during the no, I'm just gonna let you do it. Look up Derek Lee in Baseball Reference, look up his 2005 year.
Derek Lee. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Wrong Derek Lee. Apparently there's multiple Derek Lees. Derek Lee. Why can I not find him?
Because it's 2
There,
R's.
two R's. There we go.
Yes, yes.
Which season?
2005.
2005. 50 doubles, 46 homers, 107 RBIs, 335 batting average, 418 on base, 662 slugging, 1080 OPS, and a gold glove. Hello. Goodbye, Ryan Howard.
Yep. So, this is pretty much I mean, he even had good years with the Marlins. I mean, he won World Series with the Marlins. It's just he was an all-around solid player, and I would love to see him again. I've been an advocate for him, and then Amaris Ramirez as well. Hopefully, I forgot I should just let you go. Hold on. I'll let you go first. Hopefully, I didn't blow it. Did I just blow it?
No, 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 no,
Okay,
no.
alright.
So yeah, I'm actually surprised that you thought my pick would have either been Derek Lee or Ramirez because if we're talking about the Cubs, give me Sammy Sosa, man.
Oh, yeah.
Give me Sammy Sosa. What are we doing?
Oh, I don't know how I didn't think of Sammy.
You're
Oh,
talking
wow.
about Derek Lee. I'm like, that's a really good season. I want Sammy Sosa. Give me a guy who's hitting bombs left and right. So yeah, Sammy Sosa doesn't really
Yeah.
need a
You know
introduction here.
you know what's funny? I saw this, fact on him. He hit 60 home runs, in 3 seasons. Do you think he led the league in home runs in any of them?
In any of the years where he hit 60?
Yep.
No,
60 plus. Yep.
he
Hit
did
it.
not.
Crazy, right?
Insane. 4
And
straight seasons he hit at least 50. 3 of those he hit 60 plus, and then the season after that he hit 49. Insane. Insane. So,
but yeah, Sammy. I
yeah,
would love Sammy to give me the hop, don't doubt a hop. Oh man.
give me that. All of it.
Oh,
And that'll just lead me right into my Cardinals pick. Give me
uh,
McGuire.
okay.
Give me
Get them
both
both back.
guys on the home run
Remember,
chase.
was that last year or was that 19 where the community was like, yo, maybe mid-season we'll get Sammy and McGuire. I remember the community was like hyped up. It was just basically the Twitter community, and we are hyping up for no reason.
Well, I think one of the reasons is because there was the ESPN, was it a
The
30
documentary.
30 for
Yeah.
30 or whatever it was about the home run chase? Like
Yep.
that got me excited about the possibility of them being in the game. So, yeah, McGuire and Sosa. Who you got for the Cards?
Chris Carpenter. Oh,
Oh,
let
I
me say
like
that
it.
again. Chris Carpenter, yeah.
I like it.
I we were talking a little bit last week when it was with the Blue Jays, when we were talking Holiday, and then Chris Carper name came up, I think. But yeah, I would love to see him come back in the game. He'll have a nice pitch mix. He will have a cutter. So if the meta is still the same, he'll be part of the meta. Always loved using him. Back in MVP Baseball 5. Always
Mhm.
loved trading for him. Always loved using him, and I would like to use him in MLB The Show. So
Yeah, honestly, he would be great. Based off his either '05 season where he won a Cy Young, also had 7 complete games. But he could have a really nice early game card as like an
yes,
impact veteran.
yes.
Like late 2009, 2010, like around there. He could have like either like an 85 to 90 overall card that's an impact veteran. I don't know what his pitch mix would be, but he's a solid option for multiple cards in the game.
Oh yeah, hands down. So I will love him in the game. I think I remember even using him in 2K and using what pinpoint was, I guess, for 2K
Yeah.
and love like he was one of the pitchers I loved using when trying to go for that $1,000,000 perfect game thing for 2K. I remember I used him or Matt Cain,
Yeah.
and those were the names I used. I mean, so I would love to see him back. For Reds, going a little bit more old time here, Frank Robertson.
Okay.
I'm surprised he's not in the game yet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for real.
Um, I know you could probably think of him as an Oriole as well. Either or, we already went with Orioles last week, so I figured bring his name back. And yeah, if Frank Robinson pretty much, I mean, when he was a player manager as well, that just shows you what type of player he was, like what he could do on the field, off the field, and all he thought about is baseball. I mean, he won 2 MVPs, 1 rookie year. He could have multiple different cards. So give me Frank Robinson. And, I mean, his 1966 year when he won MVP, I mean, he had OPS 1047, 49 dingers, 122 batted in, 316 average, 122 hits, and then 34 doubles on top of that. I mean, he'll be just fine. He'll fit right into this game. So Frank Robinson would be great.
Mhm. We almost made it, Scuffy. We almost made it a whole entire segment without having any overlap, but he is my pick for the Reds as well.
Oh, he is too? Okay.
Yeah, he
I
is. I'm
love it.
just gonna.
Yeah,
I know
he
you.
deserves it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say he deserves it.
I
So
know you have the baseball reference page or whatever open, but I'm gonna put this in our call right here in our Discord. Just his baseball reference accolades at the top of the screen. That's the most I've ever seen. The Hall of Fame, multiple MVPs, triple crown winner, World
uh-huh.
Series champion. Like it just goes on and on. And then of course, you got the manager of the year as well to throw in there with everything
Yep.
else. Um, but yeah, Mike Mussina was my pick for the Orioles last week, so I had to get Frank Robinson in this. I don't know if he's the only guy or one of the only guys. I can't remember, but one of the only players, if not the only, to win the MVP in both leagues. To
Yes.
win, yeah. I don't know if he's the only one or if there's somebody
I feel like
else.
there's one more person that just recently did it?
Was it? Well, no, not Harper. Harper both NL.
No, it might be still just Frank Robertson.
Yeah, I think it's still just Frank. To my knowledge, we might be missing one, but yeah, Frank, 100% would be sick to have in the game. I don't care if you give him a card for the Reds or for the Orioles. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Just get him in there. And that leads to the final team, the Pittsburgh
Pirates.
Pirates.
Yep.
Um, you might think this would be my pick for the Giants, but I'm going Barry Bonds, man. If I'm gonna have if
Ooh.
I'm gonna have Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa in
Okay.
this division, I gotta go Barry. That's because I also have somebody else in mind for the Giants when we get down there. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Barry Bonds. Once again, a player that doesn't really need an introduction. I don't even need to describe him. Everybody knows him from his Giants days, but he was insane with the Pirates as well. So, although I will say that almost hurts the all-time Pirates in MLB The Show because I'm about to record my all-time Pirates video. Their outfield is so crowded. You got McCutcheon, you got Ralph Kiner, you got Dave Parker. This year we got the inclusion of Roberto Clemente, and then you would throw Barry Bonds in the mix. Who the hell goes to the bench? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then, like, if they put, like, say, like, a name like Andy Van Slyke, that's another good outfitter for the Pirate. I mean, there's plenty.
And Jason Bay was in the game this year. Not that he would start over any of them, but still.
It's funny, it's funny that you brought up Jason Bay because we all know what happened with some Met, right? And I'm not doing this for the memes because I really did pick him, and who I picked for the Pirates was Bobby Bonilla. Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Switch hitting, third baseman. Bobby Bonilla, when he was at the Pirates, that was his best years. I mean, He had 1 year in 1990, he hit 32 dingers, 120, his OPS 841. Switch hitter, remember that? I just feel like we could get multiple different cards from him, not just end game cards. I'm thinking BR wise. That's what I'm thinking here. I'm
Okay.
thinking give me like a silver gold type of card with his later years, whether that was with the Mets or um with the Marlins when he won the World Series in '97 with them. I don't know. And then the memes will come with it being Met fan and having Bobby Bonilla being Bobby Bonilla Day. I all know that. I don't care. Um, I would just, I'd be curious to see him because I originally thought Pedro Alvarez, right? Because that's just a BR player in me, but I just don't see him ever. I really do wish, like, if those type of players just didn't well, I'm not playing with SES money, but just put some feelers out just to see if they could get these like mid to lower tier legends back, just because how effective they were in the past in BR. Like if they always get like when Rake Lamb ever retires, just have his right somehow, or just I miss that Pedro Alvarez card. I'm just gonna say it, but Bobby Bonilla would be my pick.
Yeah. And I don't really think you'd have to worry that much about paying Bobby Bonilla that much money.
No, yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, he gets to $1 million to 2035.
Yep.
Um, it's crazy. I think Harper's contract ends before gets stopped playing,
That's insane.
right? And he's been getting it's the best deal ever. Doesn't have to do a thing. He's basically still under contract if you think of it
He
somehow.
he is. Still
So,
getting
I mean,
paychecks.
just get his rights somehow. I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna do for AL and NL Central. You're already 1 for 1, right? I mean, you got one of them right with Howard because you brought Howard last week,
That's
but
true.
you might get 2
Might have two.
next time with Mauer, so that's gonna be very interesting to see what happens there. And then next week we'll do AL and NL West. That should be another juicy one. And then by then we'll get I mean, next week we'll be talking about the future anyway, but by then we'll keep getting more reveals. So then we'll actually see what happens with those reveals, see what players get revealed, and then go back to our list, see what we got right and what we didn't. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I think that's going to do for us today. Another long one, right? Is this over an hour already?
We're like hour 15 or something.
It flew by. But next week's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, this week was a lot of fun. Next week is when we really get on that train. It's like we're right on the onboarding section on the platform right now, waiting for the train come in. Wednesday comes in, we go there, and then we go to the first stop, and then the next, and then the next, and we get to talk about the future next week. We get to talk about the 2 new legends they have to reveal. Maybe, like I said, we get some videos come Tuesdays and Thursdays starting tomorrow. We'll see. There's a lot to talk about, Coogs. A
A
lot to
lot,
talk about.
man. A
So
lot.
make sure you stick around. Make sure to follow us on all platforms. Remember on youtube.com/inside the show. On Twitter, Inside the Show PC. Once again, Inside the Show PC on Twitter. You can follow us on all podcast platforms. You can follow my boy Cougs at Cougs46 on Twitter. Find all of his socials there. I'm at Scuffy McGee TV on Twitter. And I don't think I didn't botch this one. I didn't botch this one. Last week I did. We're good here. I just had to bring that up, make me feel more confident as we go. No, I'm just playing. We'll catch you guys next week. Appreciate you guys for listening as always. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the feature on Wednesday. And then we'll be back here to discuss it. Peace out, guys.